Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday night. Jason Sarney here of the Miami Sports and Music Podcast Network. I hope you enjoyed Notice and Nando. Great show, you two, and they're fantastic. Sorry for the time change, everybody. I was doing a little assistant basketball coaching for my little guy, my 7-year-old Jordan. So we will be working on a time switcheroo, but the 7 p.m. is going to be a TBD. There will be Thursday night kickoff, but we're going to throw the TBD there. So anyway, let's get talking about the 7-3 first place Miami Dolphins coming off a terrific win against the Cleveland Browns. I was down there. It was a fantastic time with the crew. Really saw a lot of faces that I truly love to see, some that I've seen recently, some that it's been a little bit of a long time since, I've hung out. But shout out to my guy, Steven Daniel. Shout out to a lot of the crew over at Miami Sports and Music. Really had a very fun Saturday and, of course, Sunday at the tailgate. That was fantastic. And, of course, everyone watching, please do what you can to donate to the channel. A lot of great things are going on. So if you could donate, there's a number of different ways. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways we're going to start earning for the channel. I got a couple of cards. They are PSA 10 graded cards. I'm going to surprise you all who the actual player is, but it's a good one. So you can go on PayPal. You can go on Cash App. And, of course, right here, we could figure out with some fun donations and, whatever you guys can do over here, that would be great too. So notice you mentioned if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome if you're in the back. Same thing with you, Nando. Anybody out there who wants to jump on as well. I see Brandon Martinez. What up to you, sir? Thanks for coming on, Brandon. So if anyone has any questions as we get rocking and rolling here, please throw them on in the chat. We'll totally get to that. I want to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Brown game. What I noticed, it was really one of the more enjoyable Dolphin games that I've had. I guess, as a fan, I was lucky enough to cover the game. So really kind of wearing both hats was really, I guess, kind of the perfect Sunday for Dolphin football. So we'll get into that. Adam E., what is up, sir? Thank you for joining. I appreciate everybody on in. So, yeah, let's get the questions fired up. And let's, of course, pay a couple of more bills on the rundown here. Get the DWA certified hashtag up there. And, of course, check out everything that my fellow podcasters do, whether it's Notice, whether it's Nando. We have some fun news about who will be joining this show for about a 15-minute, 20-minute segment after Thanksgiving, the great Nikki Smokes. So Nikki Smokes will be doing his Thursday night kind of look before the game kicks off. Obviously, right now we got Packers-Titans. We'll talk a little bit about that. But when we get rocking and rolling with our time, Nikki Smokes will provide his gaming insights, of course, talk Dolphins, a couple of other free picks, and then we'll surprise folks with some other guests I got on the docket. Of course, anyone from the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network, whether it's a fan, whether it's one of you guys or gals in the chat, one of the other hosts, always welcome. So with that, if you can hit the subscribe button, we always appreciate that. And without further ado, we are now sprinting into the bye week. It was a 39-17 win against Cleveland. Obviously, the game didn't start off phenomenal with a long return by the Browns, and then they scored before you were able to kind of assess what just happened on the return. But that was really it. After that, Dolphins settled in. Tua was phenomenal. The running attack of Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert was probably the best dual threat running game the Dolphins have seen in a long time. It was unbelievable. I mean, totaling on offense 491 yards, but really the running attack to me, obviously Tua was phenomenal. We all know what's going on with Tua. He's playing out of his mind. We've all expected and hoped for this. It's kind of happening. But to mix in a running attack that Wilson and Raheem were really so dialed in, they each scored a touchdown, was phenomenal. Specifically, let's get to some numbers here. I mean, they were fantastic. 195 yards, 33 attempts, which combined 5.9 yards per carry. If you want to break it down, 7 yards per carry for Wilson Jr., 8.1 for Mostert. So these guys were teammates in San Francisco. They were with McDaniel when he was, calling the plays, drawing up the scheme, whatever it actually was that he was doing, it's working now with them here, combined with a fantastic quarterback. Tua is playing lights out. Look at what he leads the NFL in. These are not just AFC or conference or division. This is league-leading numbers: passer rating, QBR, TD percentage, yards per attempt, air yards per attempt, yards per completed pass. Net. I lost character count. I can only do 200 characters of the things he led the league in. So there's more to that. And to give you all a perspective, haters, two-and-years, people in the middle, if this season ended right now, just look at what he's been doing. This would be the third highest passer rating the past decade, behind two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Look, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. He's not a quarterback on the level of Aaron Rodgers, of course, but he had fantastic years prior to winning that Super Bowl. Then his career kind of went up and down. But to have a year that you could say that Tua is having, this is historic. And beyond what he's doing on a season scope, the last 3 games have been so historic. I'm sure everyone has seen this stat floating around Twitter or whatever social channels. 2 players in NFL's history, 3 consecutive games, 275 passing yards, 3 passing TDs, 135 plus passer rating. We're talking about the MVP and Super Bowl winner Kurt Warner from 1999, and this season's Tua Tagovailoa. So it's amazing what has been going on. It's not shocking. I'm truly not shocked. I wonder, if we can get people's comments, if people are shocked, if people are, really seeing this, So, oh, cool. Thank you, Notice. Notice, where are you? Come on in. Come on in if you want. Join me. That would be great. We could chat. And anyone else is welcome to jump on in too. Throw your questions out there. But really, I haven't been this excited as a Dolphin fan, so I want everyone to jump on in, tell me their excitement. Oh, how is the golfing this weekend? That's a question. I love that, Chapo. Golfing was okay. I'm an average to not that good golfer. That's my honest assessment. I'm a bogey golfer on a good day. So let's just say I had a good day with a number of bogeys, but I did have a birdie putt. I missed it. But if I can get there, Chapo, if I can give myself the opportunity, that's all I could really ask for. And speaking of opportunity, one of the most enjoyable things that I've seen on social media in the last couple of days has been and I forget who put it on. So if anyone in the chat could tell me who put together the different communication methods between last year's coach and Tua versus McDaniel and Tua now, it was an amazing parallel. And it shows me how important the coach to player relationship is, but more importantly, the coach to quarterback relationship. It's almost like I've never really seen anything so, I don't even know the word they're like best friends working together for a common goal. Tua was asking him things on the mic'd up. He was saying things like, when asked by McDaniel what play he likes, Tua answered, and I'm paraphrasing, I like the play you like the best to get a touchdown. That's a fantastic question by McDaniel, an even better answer by Tua. So they're going strength for strength here. And that relationship is amazing. And I truly feel that when you put confidence to a skill set, like a quarterback position, it's all the difference in the world. You got Tua calling his coach boss, like in the endearing way. Like, what do you think, boss? What do you want to do, boss? Keep chopping the wood, boss. I love that. I absolutely love that. Adam E., great comment here, Adam. I knew he would take that next step, and no, I thought he'd be arguably the best QB in the league right now. Tua is him with the one in the middle. Love that. Fun stuff there, Adam. And you know what? I'll put my cards on the table, Adam. When people, let's talk fantasy or let's talk reality, when people would ask me objectively what I thought Tua would be in terms of rank, I was honest. I'd say, top 12, top 10. That's where I hope that he could be. If anyone said top 3 or top 1 or 2, I look at them like they might have been a little, all right. But I think we're all playing with phenomenal house money, so to speak. I did not expect him to play top 1 or 2 quarterback in the league. And he's right up there with Pat Mahomes. He's right up there with Josh Allen right now. What he's doing is relatively historic. And it's a fun argument to whether it's Tyreek Hill, McDaniel, whether it's a whole conglomerate of things. But it's clear. It's a very obvious statement. You hear McDaniel say it. This is a team. This is a 3-phase team that has played really 1 and maybe a half full phases of football. My point is they're extremely dangerous if they click on all 3 phases because the potential is beyond there. It's unbelievably there. And if we could just keep, knock on wood, keep healthy, that I think is the only hurdle because the chips are really falling with Buffalo losing. The AFC East is very competitive, which is fine. Let everybody beat each other up. But Dolphins are first place going into a bye week with a tiebreaker and a game ahead, game and a half, I would think, of the Bills. So this is really setting up very, very nicely. We're going to go over the schedule, go over a number of different fun things, but I wanted to show the first item that tonight I'm going to put up for raffle. I think what we'll do is we'll do a kind of an auction. So what we'll do is I'll start it low, and then we'll raise it in increments of, let's say, $5. And then by the end of the show, $9.55, we'll call it. So we'll see what's what. So what you guys and gals can do, if you're interested in what I'm going to throw up on there in a couple of seconds, this is how you donate. And for anyone who joined Steven, Daniels, and I on our now consistent Spread Kindness and Positivity on Friday morning show, a lot of card giveaways have been happening. So I got a really bad scratch paper of notes and who gets what. We're going to get the cards out. I need addresses. So if people are looking for cards in the mail every day, please do me a favor. Find me on Twitter. Find me here. Do me a favor. Put up your address now. I'll get them out. But it's been crazy and I need addresses. So with that said, first card that's going up. You all know what to do with donations. We're doing a pair of Jalen Waddles. They're going to be separate, but the first one is a 2021 Mosaic Jalen Waddle blue chip. It's a very shiny card. I like these shiny cards. So we'll start at 5. Start that auction at 5. I wish I had my man Steven here tonight. I know he's busy, and I know he's coming off of about 12 weeks in a row of travel. So we'll hit up some more stuff tomorrow. But if anybody wants to do $5 to start the auction, we're going to throw portions of this to charity. We're going to throw portions of this to the channel, of course. And the charity that, of course, we're going to support is the Dolphins Challenge Cancer, near and dear to my heart. So what we're going to do is we're going to split it up. We're going to do 50 to the challenge. We're going to do 50 to the channel. All right? I'll make sure I just get the shipping cost out. That's all I'm doing is shipping cost. Everything else goes half channel, half challenge. So $5. If anybody wants to start off there, let's, of course, we have 40 minutes to get generous here. Good causes, good things. PayPal, Cash App. You guys know what to do. Blue chip is an insert. It's a Prism Mosaic Gem 10 Jalen Waddle. These are like livable art. I love these cards. So we'll see here who wants to throw up some donations. $5 to start. And we'll see what we can do here. So notice if you're still in there, if you want to jump in, more than welcome. Of course, I welcome questions from everybody. And let's go on to look at the schedule. We're going to go past the bye week. The next home game that the Dolphins have will be the Houston Texans. This should be a win. This should very easily be a win. They're going to be rested. I think a lot of players are home, getting some home cooking going into Thanksgiving, getting rested. They should come out of the gates firing all cylinders. Hopefully we see another win similar to what we saw this past week against the Browns. And just to talk a little bit about this past week against the Browns outside of the game, pardon me, a lot of fun things going around in the stadium, a lot of charity, a lot of philanthropy going on this weekend. I myself was at the Tyreek Hill Foundation's gala. They raised $212,000 for a terrific initiative over at the Nicholas Children's Hospital, their intensive outpatient program to help kids with mental health. Some amazing stories, some amazing, really speakers talking about, what the foundation does and what the Nicholas Hospital does for, kids and does for, people of all ages. So mental health is something that we talk about here on this channel. It's something near and dear. So, anytime we can really help and do something to spread that message and awareness, I'm all for it. Always all for that type of thing. So, other than that, I walked around the stadium. I always love walking around Hard Rock. To me, it's, I got my home, I got my folks and my nieces and nephews, and my favorite place in the world is Hard Rock Stadium. There is no place that I enjoy better. And when I was walking around, I was seeing a ton of fun things, a ton of, areas around the stadium that were first times for me. I've got a chance for the first time go into the Perfect Museum, the Pepsi sponsored Perfect Museum that was right under one of those. I think it was called American Social, the new bar, makeshift bar and museum they put up there this year. The museum was amazing. Really great, fun memorabilia from a football standpoint, from like a time you walked in, you were in a time capsule. You saw what it was kind of like to be in a 1972, a 1973 during the Super Bowl, that living room, that kind of normal living room with some certain fun ads, some magazines, newspapers, and then my favorite thing, other than your Don Shula quotes, your awesome Don Shula bronze statue with aqua, like it was like a bronze or goldish statue with just the kind of aqua that was the color, his vest. So that was awesome. Your Perfectville fun logos. It was a huge kind of bar style sign that was, catty cornered, huge Perfectville, in addition to the green road sign, Population 1 Perfectville, which was awesome. But it was in the actual 3 in a row locker room of the perfect backfield: Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Mercury Morris. So to me, that was a fun thing to stand in front of, take a couple of pictures. So for the Houston Texan game, if you're going, you haven't had a chance to go on into that museum, you got to take at least 5 minutes. That's, you could stay in there as long as you want, of course. That's all it really takes. Go on in there, shield yourself from some heat, check out some of that history. And to me, it's part of that just lore being a Dolphin fan. I always love hearing stories. If you got them in the chat room, please tell me. I'm famously not from Florida, but I'm that Northeasterner who fell in love with the 90s team. Historically, watched back anything I could from the 80s in Marino. And then every time you hear the mentions of 72, that was just, amazing history. And that's where I'm at. That's how it kind of happened for me. So learning more and seeing more history of 1972, especially in this 50th anniversary year, fantastic. So going to put a win for that Houston Texan game. That is, to me, you don't just have to win that game, you got to dominate. I don't want this game to be a one possession. I don't want it to be like last year, where it was remarkably sloppy. It was probably one of the worst games I don't care about if you win a game in the NFL, you win. I don't care if a quarterback throws 120 yards, 2 picks, but you win, you win. That game last year against the Texans was the sloppiest win I think I've ever witnessed live. 1,000%. Watching on TV and watching live are a little different, but I didn't even want to watch the tape on that. I didn't want to rewatch the broadcast. I didn't want to rewatch the tape. I took the win. We went on to that Thursday night Baltimore Ravens game. That I rewatched over and over and over again. After the Texans' hopeful win, we'll call it, you know what? Let's call it a early call. Let's call it 33-9. That's what I would like. That's what I would be thrilled. Tua rock and roll in the first 3.5 quarters. Get him out. Get Skylar in to just do some handoff. We saw a quarterback come on in for a starter in garbage time just to hand off and finish the game off. That hasn't happened in years for this team. Before I go to the West Coast trip, Christopher Carter makes a fun comment. He's right. Yeah, the 73 team, they had a loss, but yeah, they were a better team, one could argue. One could absolutely say that confidently. Christopher Carter, that the 73 team Super Bowl winners might have been a little bit better if you put them all however you can. So, one more time, if you're interested in getting this Jalen Waddle Blue Chips Mosaic card, obviously it is a rookie card. It is a gem 10 mint. You can't get better than that. And I think there's like 2 or 3 the population. Like if you scan the card, it tells you how many of this particular card rated at that particular rating there are. And I believe it's less than 5, certainly. So real fun card. If you want to be in the running for that, if you want to get a couple of bucks for the auction to get underway, still waiting for that first one. And we got a number of different ways you can do it. You got PayPal. Steven will let me know if it's through PayPal, but if it's through here, please put on on the screen if you do it up, or it'll pop up if you do it through this channel. So once again, we got a Mosaic, Jalen Waddle, half proceeds going to the channel, other to the Dolphins Challenge Cancer. And we're going to be doing a lot more things going into that Week 12 game. We have some time, so I know that Steven and I are going to be doing some real fun things tomorrow. I have a couple of friends, in the community that we're going to be teaming up and getting some really good memorabilia items out, all really going to some terrific causes, such as the Dolphins Challenge Cancer and some others. So keep eyes and ears open for that. I'll let everybody know. And in terms of this channel, DWA certified hashtag, you know what to do. And special thanks to everybody in this podcast network. Make sure to check everyone's show out throughout the week. So let's talk about San Francisco. This is going to be a very fun game, major test game. I know we're looking a little ahead, but it's a bye week, so we can do that. San Francisco, a lot of fun storylines. You have McDaniel going back to San Francisco, Mostert and Wilson, of course, going back. And, Sherfield is another guy, Trent Sherfield, who's having a fantastic season. To segue a little bit, probably one of the prettiest touchdown passes in recent memory. Quarterback to a back end zone pass to Sherfield against the Browns. The way that whole play worked was absolutely gorgeous. I wonder if that was the play, as referenced earlier, that McDaniel wanted to know what Tua wanted to throw, and then Tua answered, I like whatever play you like to get a touchdown. It was either that, hopefully, or maybe that Ingold touchdown. Each of them were stellar. I just loved that Sherfield touchdown because he got the feet down. Perfect catch, drag the feet, ball could have been thrown better. So you got all those ex-49ers going back. You got McDaniel versus Shanahan. Obviously, with the trade aspect, you have the Niners, who, if they lose this game, only helps the Dolphins' cause for the draft situation, because elephant in the room, we all know, Dolphins lost their draft pick because of reasons why we all know, but Dolphins own the San Francisco 49ers pick. Negative here is they are stacking for a run. No pun intended. They bring in Christian McCaffrey. So clearly they're not looking for anything other than to get through the NFC and to hopefully go to a Super Bowl. That doesn't very much help the Dolphins. And, of course, they traded the pick. And I just realized that with Bradley Chubb coming in, there is no parameters of the pick. So didn't even realize we brought in Bradley Chubb. So forget about the draft pick. But that's, I guess, a good problem to have, realizing that this team is going all in. And it's been so seldom since that's happened. So it's almost like I got to wake up and pinch myself that the Dolphins are absolute Super Bowl contenders. People, we're Super Bowl contenders, legitimately. I think there's probably 5-6 teams overall that you can close your eyes and win. Imagine winning the Super Bowl. I don't want to really list them. I want to focus on the Dolphins. But if they beat San Francisco, to me, there's one loss on the docket. Maybe two. If they can get away with the win at San Francisco, they still have 2 road games coming up. They have the Chargers, and I believe that they're staying out there, which would be good. You don't want to go back and forth. That's very taxing, especially with time changes. So if they're going to stay out in San Francisco, beat San Francisco, stay out west, and then just travel very, short travel to the Chargers in LA, they can beat LA. It's a fun little side story with Herbert versus Tua. But if they can come away 2-0 on this trip, it's a tall order. Like, I admit that. I've been saying 1-1 if they can get out of there 1-1. So that would be 9-4 at that point, I believe. So, yeah, if you go back, the Texans, that potential win, 8-3. Let's call the Niners a win, 9-3. And in my devil's advocate situation, if I had that 1-1, you're looking at 9-4 going into the Bills. Now, interestingly enough, as I'm looking, Chapo, thank you. 14-6, Tannehill beating Aaron Rodgers over on Amazon Prime. So how much time is left in that game? I'll check that in a moment. We got about 23 seconds left in the half. Aaron Rodgers driving. Actually just now hit Aaron Jones. But they got a world of a way to go to even get into field goal range. So thank you, Chapo, for bringing that score in that game up. 8-7. I'll stick with you here. 5-4. All right, we have a Hail Mary attempt. Rodgers is basically... Nope. Okay, halftime. All right. Okay. Back to looking ahead. Interestingly enough, everybody, as I'm looking at the schedule, Week 15 says TBD for the timing for Dolphins at Bills. Whatever that means. Obviously, the Bills game was recently announced that they're playing Cleveland in Detroit because of the snow. And funny quick snow story for Buffalo. I went to college in Buffalo. In 2000, there was 35 inches of snow in the afternoon commute. Literally 3-4 hours. I went into school at around, this was Thanksgiving time. This is basically literally this time of year, 22 years ago. Had a 3-hour lecture class. I tweeted this earlier. Had a 3-hour lecture class. No snow on the ground. Cold, freezing. You knew the snow was coming in. And everyone's trip home for Thanksgiving, this is like a Monday, I believe. Everyone was flying out Monday or Tuesday to get home for Thanksgiving and the long weekend. Flights were already being pushed ahead. Some canceled. I had a 3-hour lecture, went on in. Came out after around 2.5 hours. Full 1.5 feet, 2 feet, maybe even more of snow. Not even kidding. Had to, find some shovel, dig myself out. Took about 6 hours to get home. I lived 3 miles from campus. Flights canceled. Couldn't get home for a couple of days. Ended up home just before Thanksgiving dinner after driving with a couple of friends. Hours and hours and hours to kind of escape the road closures in Buffalo because it was a blizzard. Probably one of the top blizzards in Buffalo in the last 2, 3, 4 decades. I don't even know. Anyway, that was my fun little blizzard spiel for Buffalo. But that's the game. Other than a test with San Francisco, call it a moderate test with the Chargers, sure, winnable game. It's just a fun story with Herbert. If the Dolphins go into Buffalo and beat this team and sweep them, this team has to be thinking full-fledged Super Bowl, because if you do that, you own the path to the division. I can't see really a situation where in this scenario they wouldn't be. That would be, I guess, 2.5 games above the Bills. So this would put them in prime position for a Christmas Day game to hopefully beat the Packers. Now, as our guy said earlier, Chapo, Ryan Tannehill is beating Aaron Rodgers. So you have a Packers team that is very beatable coming on into Hard Rock Stadium on Christmas Day. Me and my son will be there. We will be going to the game. I can't wait. My son, Brandon, he's 11 years old. He went to one game. He went to a 2019 Cincinnati Bengal game in Hard Rock. But this will be his first game since then. So hopefully that is a game where, look, if things crumble the right way, a Green Bay Packer win, a Dolphin win over the Green Bay Packers sets up for 2 divisional games to end the season. Going to New England and then home against the New York Jets, which could very well be a flex game. It could very easily be, a game that, much like, I'm going to do another trip back, much like the Wildcats season of 2008, the last game of the year was at the Jets, but it was a win and in, win or go home. The winner, it was Chad Pennington versus Brett Favre, ironically enough. Winner was going to win the division. Loser wasn't going to make the playoffs. My younger brother and I were at that game together. I love having stories. I feel like I always got a story. But we were at that game. The game, Philip Burling took a touchdown back. The game, Anthony Fasano, I believe, might have had a score or a big play. But, you had Ricky and Ronnie. You had Chad. You had Teddy Ginn, and that whole fun coaching staff and everything. So, as Adam says, that one could very well be, Adam, for all the marbles. New England could maybe play themselves out of it. Buffalo, if they continue to kind of head south on where they're going, that Jet game could eliminate them out of playoff contention. Could get the Dolphins. I don't want to think too far ahead. A home game, a bye. I mean, this league, this AFC, is very wide open. I'm going to go to the standings right now while I'm chatting about that. And while Adam brings it up, and I appreciate that, Adam, we'll go to the standings here. Really take a look at the conference. I mean, there's no reason to think that if the Dolphins do what they could do, they're not a top 1 or 2 seed. I mean, look, truth be told, it would be very nice if Aaron Rodgers comes back and beats Ryan Tannehill to get the Titans back into the kind of sludge at 6-4 with, teams really at 5-4 right now. So we really should be Packer fans right now, frankly. They're number 3 in the AFC going into this week. Ravens, number 4. Jets, Bills, Patriots. So we got Notice. How we doing, Notice?
Hey, oh my God. I mean, guys, I'm sorry. I'm back. I just, a few minutes ago, I heard that you said the San Francisco Cardinals game, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be there because they're playing here.
Oh, tell me about that.
Yeah. So, as you know, guys, we have international games. So we are hosting those 2 teams in Mexico City. I mean, they're far away from where I live, but I'm traveling there because, if I go to Miami, why can't I go to Mexico City? So I'll be there. And I'm going to show you why not a few things, so you can check my social media, drinks and the Vince Lombardi, and we will be at the fan race and maybe some events that we're going to have in there. So I just wanted
That's
to
perfect.
let you know.
I love that. Tell me about the game from a football standpoint. How do you see? I know we're going a little bit in the future, but how would you see that game shaping up?
Okay. Well, you know what? I think. Well, even though right now, and you were about to check the divisions, which also like kind of call me because I was saying that the cars are not like in their best, their finest version right now. We thought they were going to do better, maybe a little bit this season, but we have seen that the Niners are very, very strong. So, I feel that even though they have been playing amazingly, for the expectations that we had, and now that they have McCaffrey, I think that they had like team up amazingly. But the Cars always feel like home when they're playing Mexico. I mean, they love Mexico, and I think that can be, a game changer for this game. So
I would love to go. I mean, I'm actually soccer. I love soccer, so I've always known that's a
really,
great. Yeah, well, I love international soccer. I love international soccer. So like Mexico City, I
okay.
feel like that stadium is really kind of like iconic. You
Oh,
know,
yes, it is. It is. I mean, guys, if you haven't been there, you need to go to Estadio Azteca. It is
yeah.
amazing. It is one of the biggest. I mean, it is old, but it is great. Like, it's when you are there, the energy is just different. So, yes, you're right, dear Jason.
Now let's talk about the Niners. As you know, I mean, look, we could skip ahead from the Texans. The Texans are, you know,
Yeah, why not?
right? Why not? So a lot of stories. What's your favorite story with the Dolphins and Niners? So many ex-players, McDaniel, of course. What's the favorite like non-football off the field story for this particular game, which is the first game in December, which is starting that road trip, so to speak.
Okay, well, you're asking me about like an off-field story, but I think that the what put us together right now, and the fact that even though we have a lot of elements from the Niners, they still remain, very strong. They're doing things great, and I would love to see. I mean, I'm just daydreaming. I'm just daydreaming, but I would love to see, a Super Bowl. Why not? Imagine. Can you picture that in your head? That would
You know what? It's
be.
funny. I could picture it, and that's almost like, I mean, if you're really looking now that the Eagles lost, I mean, let's face it, that if the Eagles went
Yeah,
undefeated, that would have been a
yeah.
fun.
I know, and they're not even. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. No, they're good,
Mhm.
but not that good. Not that good as their record said.
Fully
No.
agree. I don't think they've really been tested that much. I think that they're like you said, they're good, but they're not like they're not someone who is going to punch their Super Bowl ticket here now that we sit
Yeah,
in the
no.
middle or near late of November. But the Niners and Dolphins, look, the last time the Dolphins went to a Super Bowl was Dan Marino versus Joe Montana. It was
Yes.
Dolphins
I
Niners.
mean, when
So,
I think about it, it's like, God, dear God, why couldn't I really, leave those moments? I mean, I'm very jealous of you guys, the ones who could actually see it,
I was
the
four
ones
years
who
old.
the ones
I
who,
was
who could
four
see
years
it.
old. I mean, I mean, 4 years old, I did not know what football was, so I only had the kind of history of looking back and, I'll tell you, if I was 4 years old watching that game, I would have been throwing my food right at that TV. It
Of
was a
course.
rough game. It was a
You
rough
know,
game.
and if I'm being honest, even when I was, I don't know, 15, I didn't care that much. I mean, as you said before, I don't I don't like soccer at all. But in Mexico, it is a huge thing. But even bigger, we have basketball and baseball. So most people in here is basketball, baseball, and the NFL wasn't that huge. When I was growing up in here, not that much, and just the same old teams, right? So Dolphins, I mean, who? Dolphins who? I mean, here, not at all. So I didn't have that, that curiosity of exploring a little bit more of our team. And so I didn't really pay attention a lot when I was younger. But now, I'm just
Oh, yeah. All
I mean,
in.
I'm going crazy. Yeah, like everything I missed all these past years, now everything is here.
For me, growing up, it's like I I like the Dolphins. The colors were great. Watching Marino was great. And then I'm really trying to think when it was that I turned into that crazy guy that I needed every game we needed to win. I was rooting and having heart attacks in the fourth quarter. I think it might have been maybe right around that fake spike time, 94,
Yeah,
95. And I think you know what? Yeah, probably. Do you remember that game after Marino came back from his
yeah.
injury against the Patriots? That 4th and 5 throw to Irving Fryer to basically come back. I think I was 14. That was all right, this is nuts. This guy's amazing. I'm in. Living in New York, went into school the next day feeling like $1,000,000. And no, especially after Jet games
Yeah,
too.
I get it. Yes, of course.
So that's it. And our guy here, Chapo, said that he put that comment over again because Marino playing in Azteca versus the Broncos.
That's
That,
right.
Chapo,
We
what
had
year was that?
amazing.
Give me the year
It
that
was
was.
the eight. Yeah, remind me, Chapo. I know people who have
Hmm.
those tickets, like the original tickets, because they went to
Oh,
that game. Friends of mine here in Chihuahua. I mean, that's amazing. To have witnessed that there.
that's awesome.
They're here. Well, I'm saying there because it's far away from here, but here in Mexico. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
of
not.
course.
It was nothing common for those times, really. It wasn't common. It was something rare. So yes, the 90s, early 90s, 94. I think
Yeah,
it was
oh,
94.
exactly. Yeah, I think it was Elway Marino, right, Chapo. And I think there was a funny story. I mean, for all you fish tank fans out there, the great podcast with Seth Levitt, OJ McDuffie, you know, there's definitely a funny story. I'm blanking a little bit on the details, but I think there's a funny OJ story. I think he might have missed a plane or something. I think there was or something like that. I think
Something, yes. I have heard like,
there's something funny that went down in Mexico City. I was like, Chapo, you confirmed that
I
with the year.
know.
Yeah, I think the rookie or year 2, year 3. I gotta confirm this, but some
Yeah,
good
yeah, I
stuff
mean,
on a
actually that
podcast.
that year was when I became a Dolphins fan.
Yeah,
94,
that makes
exactly.
complete sense. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
right there. You got the Finns in there. Great team. Those are the years. Those are the years they
Yes,
almost did it.
and we're seeing something. I mean, it is impossible not to get emotional because I think that right now we're seeing something, and once again I know it's a total different team, and it's amazing because
Mm-hmm.
we have greatness again, but in a different way. So I mean I can't help but to say that it is very probable that we make it to the Super Bowl. Why? I mean, why not? Why
Why
not?
not us? That's exactly right. It's like,
Really?
why not us? You're looking at other teams out there, and the funny thing is, it's like Ravens, Dolphins beat them. Jets,
Exactly.
they got their butts whipped by the Jets, but that was a Skylar Thompson-led team after Teddy Bridgewater
That
got
is right.
hit hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, concussion. I mean,
I
come
wasn't
on.
gonna say the word. I mean, that was
Those
literally
spotters, I hate those spotters. They don't even exist. Come on, who are they? I mean,
the only reason I don't care about that, because let's just be truthful. If Teddy stayed in that game, they still probably would have lost. But the way that
yeah, yes, totally.
but
Yeah,
the
I
way
mean,
that
yeah.
yeah, they were not good that day. And Xavier Howard, I believe, was out. But the fact of the matter is, a healthy Tua at home. If this game is for all the marbles, if players are sitting because whatever, if full strength versus full strength, Dolphins are better than the Jets. That
Oh,
last game,
I mean, yes, and we're not saying once again that the Jets are not good because they
correct.
are. I mean, way better than many, many, many other teams, both conferences, really. And you know what? I don't know. I dare to say, since we were saying that records do not reflect the reality of many teams due to the schedule or whatever situation, right? On and or off the field. I really think that the Jets, even though I mean, I don't hate the Jets. I know that most of our fan base hate them. hate them, but I don't. For me, it's the Pats. That I can't stand the Pats. It's like no, but not even the team, their head coach. I can't. I just can't. It's like too much for me. But even so, I think that the Jets are even, maybe might be better than the Eagles. Yes, there, I said it. I don't care. I think they're like a more complete team right now.
Well, I mean,
That's
the
what.
AFC is vastly better than the NFC.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, definitely.
vastly. So, I mean, other than, the Vikings could very easily be better than the Eagles, but they haven't played anyone so
Yeah,
good.
and you know what? I still cannot. I mean, I know the Vikings gave an amazing game last week. I mean, I was, at
Well, they beat the Bills,
the
right?
edge watching that game. Like, I mean, this is the first week that we are like, oh, thank God we won, easily. This was great, right? Everything was already there. But, since we like pain, because we're Dolphins, right? We like pain. We enjoy it. So I immediately began watching that game so I could suffer now for the first play in the first spot in the division, right? And I was genuinely suffering watching that game. I mean, it was very tight. It was very good. And I mean, I was saying this, I mean, a few minutes ago. I think that the Bills, yes, they're an amazing team. They are. But right now, I mean, I used to think they were better than us at the beginning of the season. At the beginning, yes, definitely. No question.
Full strength. Yep.
Yes. But right now, like seeing all the mistakes that they are not able to, correct, which is a lot related to leadership, I think, and attitude. I think that's what the problem is, and we don't have that problem here. And I love that because in here everybody is coachable, everybody is they make themselves held accountable for their mistakes, responsibility, whatever it is, and they just strive to be better and better and better, and they're not like satisfied. I mean, yes, we did great, but it's always a but. They're not like pointing fingers on other people. And I think that in other teams that happens a lot. We have Thursday night right now, we have the Packers, and in there, their leader points fingers at everybody. And that's not nice. I think that is their major problem. And I think that's the Bills' problem right now for me.
I agree. I think that's well said. And I think that, with momentum, he got the Dolphins going up with that exactly the opposite of what that problem that you mentioned was. You have coaching and quarterback in coercion with each other. And then you have superstars like a Tariq Hill, who I think is very okay with if one game he goes 5 catches for 55, like a couple of games ago. That's okay. And like he'll get a touchdown. He might not go 10 of 150 like some other games, but who cares? It's like no, there's a lot of selfless players on this team now who are rooting for others. Raheem Wilson sees Jeff Wilson arguably. Look, let's face it. I think it's Jeff Wilson's backfield with Raheem complimenting him now, as
Oh my God,
opposed
that
to
was
maybe.
beautiful.
Oh, I
Wow.
just got chills because you know what? Maybe we're all thinking Raheem will have Wilson compliment. Who cares? They are rooting for each other. You
Exactly.
know, I love this. It's a
I
team across the board.
Yeah, I mean, and you see that in other teams, like very scarcely, like it's weird, it's rare to see that level of brothership. I mean, brotherhood, sorry. I mean, they can say a lot of things, but they don't show it. They don't show it. I mean, yeah, my brother, he's the best, and blah blah blah. But when it comes to um, giving away the opportunity to have a better record, to increase your numbers, your yards, whatever it is, then they always take the opportunity. And in this case, what I saw, not only with Raheem, as you said, but also I saw it with Tariq Hill, right? Because Waddle had way more appearances and participation in this game, and I mean they were happy for him. I mean, Tariq was happy. Yes. Just do your thing. And as I said before, Tua saying, okay, you know what? I'm not going to go for those over 350 yards, and it's fine. I don't care. So go Sky. I mean, like, really, I was this close to crying. Maybe I did a little bit
You know
in
what?
front of people. I don't care.
It's it's funny you mentioned that because for the first time I think in like years, maybe even like 20, 25 years, I was when they started chanting MVP,
Oh, wow.
which I got such chills and like the goosebumps, the hair was standing up, everything was just like, is this real? Like
I
there's
know.
60,000 plus people chanting MVP, and this we've seen Marino
I get it. Yes.
way back has seen Greasy, and there's been 25 some odd quarterbacks between Marino and now that have driven us crazy, and half of them were supposed to be it. Like obviously half of them were not; they were just fillers.
Mhm.
But half of them, you could say, "Oh, he's the guy. Oh, he's the guy. Maybe he's the guy."
Oh, no, now this one. Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, we just
I
traded
know.
for AJ Feely. We just traded for Gus Ferrater, signed Dante Culpepper, or are going to believe in Jay Fiedler or Damon Hewitt. No, none of them worked. Chad Pennington had a nice little hiccup.
Hey, come on. We had culture, okay? We need to give. Okay, I needed to say it. I'm sorry.
I thought
He
you were
was
going to
fun.
jump back. I thought you were going
He
to
was
jump back
very
on the
fun.
Tannehill train, but that was a whole.
No, not at all. You know what? I think that really, not because I love him, but yeah, a little bit. I love him because of that. Yes, let me change the speech. I think that Fitz did way more for us in a shorter span than Tannehill. Yes, there, I said it. I don't care. I mean,
I agree with you. I laughed not to you. I laughed because someone actually had the nerve, in a funny way, Herman, of putting Pat White in the same sentence as Chad Pennington. Let me tell you something. All of us here, you, me, everyone in the chat room, we have the same number of NFL completions as Pat White. God rest his football soul.
I know. Well, you know what? I think I have more because I played flag football, so I have more.
There
Yeah.
you do. He was 0-5 lifetime
I'm
with
better.
a hit that I got to tell you. I remember that I was watching that game on DirecTV. My brother was able to watch that game not on DirecTV. Now DirecTV has got like a minute delay or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So my brother calls me up and he's like, and look, I hate like joking like this, but like he was okay. Pat White is thriving now. It's okay. It's like, dude, Pat just died. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm sorry to ruin the play for you. And then as he's saying that, I'm like, no, I saw it happen. And I'm like, wow, poor Pat. But
Yeah.
he's a good guy.
Know.
Hell of a baseball player. Pat.
Yes. I mean, when you play the right sport, then you're good. Right?
You know what?
I mean, do your thing.
Hell of an athlete. Pat was a terrific college player, all jokes aside. But notice, we got a couple minutes left. Tell everyone where. I know we have to work on times. You're a Thursday show consistently here. So tell everybody about your show and where they could find you and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, well, so as you can see, guys, right here, Ilsenon is like everywhere, in the social media for the elderly, like, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, that's it. I cannot handle more than that. And of course, in here, okay, today, right before Jason, at 8 p.m., I'm here, Eastern time. It's not the same time for me, but I'm here. And we'll see. We work on something, Jason, later. Maybe we will make some changes. We are working on that, but
we're here for all of you from 7-ish to 9:30, 10-ish, one way or the other.
Exactly. So either is you or me. Either is you or me, right?
That's a team.
I mean, exactly. That's what a team is.
How we do it.
And we are a team. So that's it. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Notice, I appreciate it. And everyone, we're going to continue the while. We're going to carry it over to Spread Kindness Friday with me and Stephen D. So, and I'll obviously have to check with him to see if anybody sent the donation straight to PayPal. So that could be up there. We're going to continue it tomorrow. Notice, I appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you.
Some other rundown items. Of course, anytime. Really appreciate everyone jumping in. Chapo, thank you. Herman, thank you. Fun stuff, Adam, and really everyone else joining. Like I mentioned, Thursday I'll be back probably a week from Thanksgiving. Everyone have a good Thanksgiving. If we can maybe do a show on Wednesday. Are you gonna do a show next week on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, since I don't celebrate Thanksgiving
I know
here.
I asked, but I was just, you
No,
never know.
but
So I
it was
wanted to.
a good question because
Okay,
I'm an
good.
English teacher, so we celebrate there. But anyway, I'm gonna be here. If you want to join, I'll be here next
Well,
week.
I'll tell you a fun thing. Something that I do celebrate because it's my youngest son's birthday, and it's a fun day anyway. Cinco de Mayo. My son is a
Oh,
Cinco de Mayo birthday.
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, I mean, we don't even celebrate that in here because that has like a totally different meaning. But we let you guys be happy with
That
it.
was that a faux pas? That's a faux pas.
I mean, nothing. I mean,
No?
nothing happened. We don't even have a holiday. I mean, that's not a holiday in here.
Gotcha.
But guys,
To each
have
our
fun.
own.
Have
To each
fun.
our own. It's a
Drink
birthday.
tequila. Do your thing. Yeah.
Well, not yet. He's only 7. So
Well, no, but you, dear Jason, later.
True.
Later.
Maybe I'll be that cool dad when he's like 21 in college to celebrate his birthday. I'll limp up there. My back will be like,
I celebrate with my oldest kid right now. We go and drink together. How cool is that?
I love that. See that, God willing.
That is your goal.
That is the goal, to be able and healthy enough and still kicking when the kids are ready to do that. To go to a football game, put a couple drinks down, but only when they're 21. Right. Only when they're 21.
Well, 18 in Mexico. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Guys.
Maybe we'll talk about a family trip then if it's legal there, but that's a
conversation
for another day. Hopefully for a Dolphin game, because I've always wanted to go to a Dolphin game in Mexico City. I'm not a flyer across the pond.
They will be back. I know that. No.
I don't think I could.
And it's more beautiful in here, really.
Yeah, I don't want to go to dreary weather London. I want to
go. No.
I want to see the sights in Mexico.
Yeah, you should. Everybody should. I mean, Chapo here, he can say how beautiful it is in here. He knows. So
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. So notice, I appreciate you. Have a good week. Where are we? Week 11. Where the Dolphins are off, so who the heck cares what goes on in the NFL? But we'll still be doing things over on Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. So enjoy Thursday evening. Fins up, everyone. We'll see you next time. Take care.